Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Cassie Ng, and this is Robert Vargas. We're PhD candidates in the psychology department. We're here to give you a virtual tour of the psychology department and everything our program has to offer. There are 3 core disciplines in our department: cognitive, developmental, and health/social. But just because you're in one discipline doesn't mean your research is secluded to that area. For example, my research is with children, so my area of work is considered developmental, but I also use neuroimaging and focus on attentional processes, overlapping heavily with cognitive. And I also implement exercise-based interventions, which is more health-related. If there's one word to describe our department, it would be interdisciplinary. You'll leave here well-rounded with knowledge and skills in many overlapping areas. Even though we don't have a clinical discipline, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't work with clinical populations. For example, my advisor Eric Thiessen collaborates with child psychiatrists at University of Pittsburgh and works with pediatric populations at risk for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Michael Granovetter works with patients with cortical resections and individuals diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And Marlene Berman works with patients with epilepsy and prosopagnosia. You'll also notice that our department is relatively small and tight-knit. By the time you graduate, you'll probably know everyone, and they'll know you too. I've seen graduate student cohorts ranging from 3 to 10 people, but the typical size is around 4 to 5. This is good because it fosters more of a cooperative over competitive environment. Let's head into Baker Hall though. This building is where the psychology department is located. Better hurry, it's a little chilly outside. Welcome to Baker Hall. Oh wait, safety first, I need to suit up. Okay, we're good. This is where your office and the majority of classes, lab spaces, faculty, and staff are. You'll see that Baker Hall is unique in that it's a very long building, but I love it because it kind of reminds me of a train station, like platform 9 3/4 from Harry Potter or a really fancy airport. Some spaces are on the bottom floor, some are on the second floor, but majority of the psychology spaces are on the 3rd floor, which is where we're heading. Whoa, watch your step. We could take the elevator, but I'm trying to get my steps in. Today on this tour, I'm going to show you all around Baker Hall, Margaret Morrison, which is a 5-minute walk from here where the developmental labs are, the University Center right next to Margaret Morrison, which has a lot of resources for graduate students, and the Mellon Institute, a few blocks away where our fMRI facilities are. Ignore the cameraman. Okay, let's head into one of our faculty wings. Let's start by getting a word from one of the newest members of our community, Dr. Michael Trujillo.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Nice to meet you. My name is Michael Trujillo, and I'm a new faculty member at Carnegie Mellon University, the Department of Psychology. My area is in social health. I'd love for you to get to know a little bit more about me and my sunlit-filled office, which everybody keeps telling me is very nice, so I'm going to take that. A little bit about me. I am a first-generation college student, and my parents immigrated from Mexico. So, navigating the education system was pretty challenging. And so I had to learn a little bit, actually I had to learn a lot about the academia, if you will, through trial and error and asking people. And so one of the things that I learned is having a great support system. And that's something that I think I've benefited a lot from, and something that I think I can offer as a future mentor. And another important aspect is we all come with our own unique perspectives. And as a queer person of color, that perspective has not always been represented in academia. And that's something that I really hope to foster, and something that I also incorporate into the work that I do, which is examining the social and health consequences of exposure to stigma. But if anybody has even looked into or understood a little bit about the discrimination stigma literature, oftentimes it's told through this kind of deficit-based approach. Bad things happen to people, and therefore there are these negative consequences. And while that's true, it's also important to recognize that people who have been stigmatized and marginalized also exhibit unique strengths and resiliency. And that's another aspect of the work that I do, is to incorporate what are the positive things that happen to people who have been exposed to stigma. And so I try to embed the work that I do in the community. And that I think is really important when you do community-based work. So something that I think is important is always to take the community's perspective and have them tell you a little bit about what's bothering them, rather than us trying to come at it and try to tell them what's bothering them. So I think that I provide a unique perspective, and it's something that I hope that any student who comes to work with me and in the department that really harnesses that unique perspective, and don't shy away from it, because that's what makes it unique. And find the right mentor and the right program that is going to allow you to really examine that. And that's something that I think I can offer, and something that I think the department here is able to offer as well.
On the other end of the hall is the 360 wing, where there is the Office of Communications, University Advancement, and also psychology affiliated faculty and staff. So over here, oh, hey Penny. Nice Becky cameo. So you'll see in this space, they have not one, but two microwaves bowls, am I right? And nice stainless steel fridge. This is Brian McWhinney, and his folks are over here.
Oh, hello again. Hi. So welcome to the soon-to-be psychophysio lab. Come on in. So as you can see, this is a very empty room, but imagine there are people in here. So this room and the next are going to be available to bring participants in and to do tasks that where we're able to capture psychophysiology. So this room is pretty large. We're going to have some fancy TVs up on the wall and real people when that happens. This room will be outfitted with psychophysiology equipment to capture people's dynamic interactions and understand what their physiology is trying to tell us about their emotions and a variety of other constructs. So this room is going to look exactly the same as this room when that happens. So mirror image of each other. And right across the hall, we have the control room. This control room is going to control the two spaces you just saw. So imagine very fancy, lovely computer equipment with, let's just imagine, lots of books as well. This control room will also be able to capture audio-visual of the participant rooms that you just saw. So when that gets going, I will primarily be using these rooms, but in the future, if any faculty or even students are interested in using psychophysiology in the work that they're doing, this room will be available to them as well. So over here, see similar image, but this time it's going to be rooms that are primarily used by Dr. Vicki Helgeson. So 2 participant rooms controlled by a control center. Still in the process of outfitting these rooms, still very new. Again, another participant room and a lovely standalone copy and print machine. Thanks for joining.
There's also cubicles for extra working space, and also a brand new conference room for lab meetings and for anyone to use. And right outside the 360 wing, right next to the elevator, there is a nice waiting space for participants. We also have 3 single-stall, gender-neutral bathrooms on the 3rd floor alone, and they're also very family-friendly, as you can see. Okay, let's head into the graduate student wing where all of our offices are. So this is the grad wing. Look at this, hot and cold water. Luxury. Nice microwave, bunch of offices. Here's a nice little, where are people? Where are they now? So when you are a second to plus years, You get your own office space. My area, you can see it's personally decorated. We have some necessities like paint and glitter. Coffee machine, whiteboard, and oh, hey Robert, what are you doing there?
Hey, just doing some grad school work.
The department will actually give you a monitor if you want, and as you can see here, our desk can also be adjusted. So if you want a standing desk, that can also be arranged. We like to sit, so we just have our basic sitting desk. So this is the first year office. This is where you'll be staying, and you get to choose your office space, and you'll get keys where you can lock up secure things on top of your desk and in your filing cabinets. My favorite part about this space is definitely the blackboard. So this is where you can express yourselves. I honestly don't know where this dinosaur came from, but it has been here since I started grad school. And so yeah, this is just a fun space where you'll get super close with your cohort, and you can just come here and do work or just hang out. Let's get a word from our second years.
Hello, I'm Ursula. I'm a second year graduate student working with Dr. Lori Heller, and my broad interests are the perception of environmental sounds.
And I'm Fiona. I work with Vicki Helgeson, and I study positive affect and relationships.
I was wondering if you could just show me a quick tour of your office.
Sure. So in our little corner nook, this is where we have our couch. This is where we take naps, we read, just hang out, invite people into our space. And then this is my little office with some things of mine. And then we have our food area,
Mini fridge, personal microwave.
yes,
Okay.
and tea kettle.
Yeah, this is my desk. We found some speakers from circa 97 and they work really well, so that's pretty fun.
Bass and all. Also, Fiona, what is that? Hello.
Oh, my Himalayan salt rock.
Legit. All right, let me sit in this nice nook area. Both of you had the unique experience of starting this program remotely. And now, if you could tell me your experience in grad school. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Really unexpected transition given COVID and just the entire pandemic. I think what really got me through last year being fully remote, and then this year in the hybrid model, was of course my cohort. We're known as the Big 10. There's 10 of us. And even through, being at home and things being virtual, we were still able to really bond and form those relationships and, bring them into person over this past semester. So it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been refreshing and new to be around people.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely cohort made a big difference. I also really appreciated that the department really valued kind of work-life balance throughout, especially the remote year last year. Felt that we were very supported in being able to take time away from the computer, and those kind of boundaries between work and life were respected. And that made a big difference in terms of avoiding burnout, as last year was hard with COVID, and things are getting easier with the hybrid model. Hopefully continues to get more and more in person, but overall it's been a really positive experience.
All right, thank you both. I will see you around. Look at another wing in Baker Hall. This is Jessica Cantlin's office. Using fMRI, she looks at the intraparietal sulcus of young children doing numerical tasks. And what she found is that boys and girls actually show identical abilities. Something super badass about Jessica's office is this. She was actually named Times Person of the Year in 2017. This right here, my friends, these are goals. One day, I hope to have my own portrait in my office blown up on the cover of a magazine for making a difference in the world. So something you'll notice throughout this tour of our department is the artwork hanging around the hallways. This sculpture is something that I actually built in my first year. And these were pieces donated from our IT department. When I remodeled the sculpture a few years later, Mike Tarr, our department head, is actually the one who ordered the sculpture's new brain and the lights. So something that's really important in graduate school is having a good work-life balance. That means having hobbies, which we know is good for productivity and creativity. This is something that our department really supports. For example, Janine is the lead singer in a band. Patience is a tap dancer and choreographed this entire routine. Krista is a cyclist. Roderick plays the piano. Kind of hard to hear him because I Snapchatted this at one of our graduate student get-together parties. And Phoebe goes hiking. But what you'll notice is that all of these graduate students are not only in different labs, but also different disciplines. And they all each have their unique hobbies they do outside of their research. Throughout this tour, you'll see a lot of my artwork that is tied to the science in this department, but it's also just a reminder that work-life balance is really important, and having hobbies and having a life outside of research is so important for mental health. Pause. On the left is the core staff wing. T-wing, and this is Erin Donahoe's office. Erin is very, very special. She does a lot of things for the graduate students, like organizing visiting weekend. She's also who you email any inquiries about the program, and she's also someone that you can go to and confide in. So I've definitely sat on this couch before, just, venting. This is one of my favorite things, the yoga ball. But you can see here that she has all students' dissertations here, and another friendly face in the department who you can go to as a resource. These are brain lobectomies from Marlene Berman's research. These were performed to end life-ending epileptic seizures on children. I remember my first time sitting in Marlene's office, I noticed that there were these Tupperwares on this desk, and what I thought was her lunch were actually real human brains. So you can see that these are slices of both hemispheres, and this right here is an actual human brain. How cool is this? Also, LOL, do not eat. But yeah, Marlene is amazing. She is one of the faculty that I have reached out to many times, just emailing if I could get her feedback on my research. But let's get a word from Marlene herself.
I'm going to start today by giving you a very short description of my academic journey, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the kind of research that I do in my lab. I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, and it's an extremely beautiful country, as you can see from all of these images. This is a picture of me growing up in South Africa. And in 1976, there was the largest race riots that had ever occurred in South Africa. 20,000 school students protested the education inequities of the government, and 176 of these students were killed. I decided that I could no longer live under such a regime. This was all just before Nelson Mandela was released. I've managed to finish my undergraduate degree, and then I found my happy home here at Carnegie Mellon University. Two particular highlights that I wanted to share with you. The one is going to the White House for the announcement of the New Brain Initiative. And the other was being part of a delegation of Western scientists who went to meet with and discuss science with the Dalai Lama. A lot of my work involves functional neuroimaging. More recently, I've been studying what happens to young children who have a hemispherectomy, so an entire hemisphere removed, as you can see here. And the question is, when an entire hemisphere is removed, does the remaining left hemisphere have the potential to serve as the neural substrate for face recognition? There certainly seems to be plasticity, but this appears to only be true in childhood. Of course, this raises very many questions, and we've really only explored the tip of the iceberg. How does this plasticity come about? What structures are involved? Is it contingent on the age at surgery? Okay, so I'm going to stop there and to welcome you to Carnegie Mellon University. and I hope to have the opportunity to interact with you further.
Pause. On the left is our main conference room, and on the right is the psychology lounge in Dr. Casey Cresswell's lab.
Come on in. So welcome to the Behavioral Health Research Lab. This is Casey Cresswell's lab. I am her graduate student. My name is Lakshmi Kumar. I am currently a third year, and broadly my research interests are on social factors involved in alcohol use. So this is some of our study rooms where we have participants complete some of the tasks. Here is where we prepare all of our alcoholic and placebo drinks. So this is the little kitchen area where we store everything. This is the restroom just for participants to use and also for people in the lab to use. These are some of the study rooms where participants come out. Each room has a little computer that they fill out surveys and tasks that we have them do, and we have a couple of them all the way that goes to the end of the hallway. So we can have multiple participants do a study because we are always bringing multiple participants to drink together. So we like to have multiple rooms where they can complete tasks.
Casey also studies nicotine addiction and has a smoking room that is innovatively designed to contain cigarette smoke from spreading to the rest of the building.
All right, so this is the section where we have all of our research assistants get work done, as well as our drinking room. So if you can follow me, this is just our lab manager's room. That's our lab manager, Greta. And these are just research assistant rooms where research assistants can get some of their work done. Here's a coding room, for example, where a lot of our research assistants get their fax coding or facial action coding system, which is a big part of our lab. This is where they get the coding done. And then finally, this is the drinking room. So this is where we run the drinking sessions. So this is the drinking room where participants come and drink. And we wanted to keep this as natural and as ecologically balanced as possible. So we try to make it like a comfortable living room space that anyone can feel comfortable coming, sitting around and drinking. So we have all of these nice little art pieces on the walls. We are also interested in how people's faces look like when they drink. So we have these cameras. We have 3 cameras for each participant on the table. And we think they're nicely hidden, at least hopefully. They look like little lights, but yeah, so this is the drinking room.
What's so interesting about Casey's research is that she studies these social interactions while people are drinking alcohol in real time. So let's run a mock study on what we think this looks like.
All right, thank you for coming and participating in this study. I'm just gonna pour your drinks now. All right, I'll start the timer. I'll be back in 12 minutes. So, what do you do?
Honestly, yeah, you're in the department. How about yourself?
I'm also a student in the department.
Oh, I never see you around.
Yeah, it's strange. We've never met before.
Yeah, that's really bizarre. It's like some Black Mirror stuff.
I'm actually out. Bartender!
Wasn't there supposed to be a third person here?
I thought there was a third person here.
Yeah.
Where'd that third person go?
All right, so this ends the drinking session. You can follow me back to your rooms.
Psychology Lounge is where we have most talks, visiting faculty colloquium speakers, and job talks. Something unique about our program is that we don't have quals. That's right, no qualification exams. Instead, in our first years in the program, we give presentations, also known as brown bags, on our research in front of the department. I know this can sound intimidating, but coming into grad school, I had really bad speech anxiety. I'm talking shaking hands, shaky voice, basically reading from my slides and avoiding the audience. Now, as a more marinated graduate student, I've given 28 oral presentations at conferences and invited talks at other universities. Brown bags and giving talks within the department and getting feedback from the faculty and students will strengthen your presentation skills so that when you do present outside of CMU, you'll be more than prepared. This is the Psychology Lounge. This is a nice communal place where we have a fridge and freezer, sink to wash your hands, coffee maker, microwave, toaster oven, and all of our mailboxes. And hell yeah, we recycle. But this is just a nice place where you can hang out, do work, and you can also hold office hours here when you are TAing. Okay, so let's take a tour down another part of Baker. This is Vicki Helgeson's office, our graduate director, who you've already met. Me, as well as several graduate students, have been to Vicky's office before. She is who you go to if you're having any conflicts or any issues in the program or in life, and she will give you the best advice for your professional development, and she will look out for your interests. She's also very responsive, which I think is important for any graduate director. So if you email her, she will respond to you within the day. Another fun fact about Vicky is that she will ask you what your favorite cookies are, and she will take that on as a challenge and she will bake them. She's also very inclusive. So if you are vegan or gluten-free, she will bake them that way, which I think is something special about Vicky. Pause. On the left, we have David Creswell's lab space, which we'll visit in a few minutes, and the psychology reception office, also known as the fishbowl because it's surrounded by glass. Hey, Queen Bee.
Since we're virtual, I am going to take my mask off. It'll be nice to meet all you folks whenever you might get here. My name is Becky Finkel, and I am the receptionist and the facilities coordinator in psychology. I provide office supplies to the entire department. Anytime there are facilities issues, the light goes out, your heater's not working, whatever, that would be me, you would call. And I'm also very important for grad students. I do your expense reports. So whenever the grad students spend money, I'm the person to come to try to get it back.
Okay, so just emphasizing how important Becky is. So yes, Becky takes care of all of our reimbursements. So when you travel for conferences, she will get that reimbursement back to you within a few days, which is amazing. Very, very quick turnaround. Also, endless supply of paper and supplies. I would like to just say that this is like Target on crack. Look at all of these things. Pens in every colors, Sharpies, staples, and there's even stamps and postage. Look at this. We will hook you up. Okay, so we're just gonna take a tour in one of our social labs. Oh, what a surprise! We have a cameo from David Creswell.
Hey everybody, welcome to my lab. Okay everybody, we thought we'd give you just a short tour of the 340 wing lab space that folks in my lab work in. So this is one of the testing rooms. This is one of our all-purpose rooms. We do a whole lot of stuff in here. You can see there's a giant freezer in there. A lot of times we do dry blood spots and saliva sampling and other things here. So this, you can't see it. We have a sink in here, so that helps with some of the work that we do. And so biological assays and specimens come through this room commonly. All right, let's go down the hallway. Okay, this is one of our call rooms. We do a lot of community randomized control trials where we offer stress management programs. And typically we have a study hotline where people are calling in and we are talking to people out in the community. This is a lot of times where that work's happening. And you'll see there's some cushions there. We do these different meditation studies. So there's always meditation cushions in our lab. All right, we're moving here. This is one of our testing rooms. It has a lot of different physiological assessment equipment. It's kind of a flex room. It changes with every study. So this is our main lab room here. We have whole test banks of computers with physiological recording equipment. And there's some holes that we punched in that wall that allow us to use this adjacent room really as a really nice testing room. We've got video equipment set up, and a lot of times we'll do tree or social stress tests, and we'll do memory stress challenges in here of various kinds. Really nice setup. Thanks, Cassie. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the virtual tour, and I hope you come see it in person.
Pause. On the right is our EEG lab, and on the left is our department head suite. When you walk in, you'll be greeted by Ginger, Mike Tarr's assistant. Ginger can help you with basically anything. A fun and useful experience graduate students can do is volunteer to host faculty candidates. So if you choose to do that, you work closely with Ginger in planning out their schedules. On the left here is Kathy Majors, our business manager. She handles all of our monies, so if you're awarded external grants or have any questions about research finances, Kathy is your go-to. Ginger also always has bowls of candies on her desk, and people pop by to grab a few pieces. Okay, on to Mike Tarr's office. Mike Tarr is our department head. I think a good word to describe Mike is progressive. He schedules meetings with the graduate students at least once a year to listen if we have any issues or concerns about the program. He adjusts our stipends for inflation and typically raises them and our annual travel funds each year, and even allocated a few $100s of annual discretionary funds for each graduate student because he genuinely cares about our livelihoods. He's also open-minded for change. To give you an example, Robert Vargas and I proposed to Mike Tarr to start a diverse recruitment committee within the department to establish our presence at recruitment events for students from underrepresented minority and disadvantaged backgrounds. He completely supported this initiative and allocated funds for these efforts, which we hope will continue on with graduate students like you.
Welcome. I'm Michael Tarr. I'm the head of the psychology department at Carnegie Mellon University, and I'm really excited today to tell you a little bit about our program, and I hope you're enjoying all the other information you're getting about our program in this video. So I think one of the most important things we do at Carnegie Mellon is train graduate students. It's something which our department is known for, that we've been doing for many, many years, and our students really are afforded a set of opportunities that are very unique because of the highly interdisciplinary nature of our program, of Carnegie Mellon as a whole, and then the kinds of career paths that students tend to choose as they come out of Carnegie Mellon. So students, while they're here, can take classes, of course, within the department or work as faculty within the department. We also have many students that work in a very interactive way with people in machine learning, with people in social and decision sciences, with people in engineering. There's just really a lot of different things that students can do to enhance their skill set and learn about a wide range of things that relate to their interests in psychology. And I think the students have a lot of fun doing that. They also work with a cohort of students from many other programs and get to know them very well. And what we see is that ultimately when students graduate, there's an incredible number of opportunities that they have available to them. So some of them, of course, go into postdocs or faculty positions, and those students have done very well, and we're very proud of them. But we also have a bunch of students that are really, really doing well within industry. We have students working in places like Google and YouTube, technological companies. We also have students working in data science. We have students working in the public sector for nonprofits. There's really a wide range of things that are available to you given what you learn here within our program. And I really think that you as a student would have a wonderful time here, and you can really find your own path to the kinds of things that you ultimately want to do in the rest of your career in life.
And speaking of where our graduate students end up, here is a special word from our alumni.
Welcome everyone.
So let's start by getting a word from Caitlin with a K.
Hello, I'm Dr. Caitlin Mascatelli, and I am a senior market research consultant at PNC Bank, where I oversee our market research initiatives as well as research with multiple vendors at the bank.
Hi, I'm Dr. Caitlin Tennyson. I'm a research scientist at Educational Testing Service, where I study learning and decision making and build models to provide students with a more personalized educational experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Carrie Skrinsky, and I'm currently a postdoctoral researcher in the Psychology and Neuroscience Department at the University of Colorado Boulder, where I do research on cannabis use and health outcomes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Benton. I'm currently a visiting assistant professor at Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, PA. And starting in August, I will be a tenure track professor at Vanderbilt in the Department of Psychology and Human Development. I study how infants and young children think about cause and effect, as well as how preverbal infants, so babies below the age of 12, evaluate others on the basis of their social and moral actions.
Hi, I'm Dr. Casey Rourke, and I'm currently a postdoctoral scholar in the Department of Communication Science and Disorders at the University of Pittsburgh, where I study the cognitive and computational mechanisms of how we learn sounds of different languages.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tina Liu. I'm currently a postdoc fellow at the National Institute of Mental Health, where I apply high-resolution 7T fMRI to understand the feedback and feed-forward processes in the brain.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Charles Wu, and I'm a senior data scientist at a medical startup company called Spark Neuro. And I basically build machine learning algorithms from EEG data to diagnose neurological disorders.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ronnie Patel. I'm a quantitative UX researcher at Google, and I study trusted technology.
Hi, my name is Dr. Sandrine Gerard. I work at Amazon as a language data researcher, where I work to improve Alexa's ability to have fluent, complex conversations with humans.
Good
luck.
Welcome to the EEG Lab. This EEG Lab is special because it's communal, meaning if you come into the program and you want to use EEG, you can. We have at least 102 channel caps, and over here are where the experimenters or the researchers can run and program their experiments. Over here on the left is where our caps and the electrodes are hung. EEG is super cool because high temporal resolution, non-invasive, relatively inexpensive. And this is where the participant sits, and it's your classic setup of the psychology experimenter able to watch as the participant is being tested.
Hi everyone, my name is Pierre Gianferrara, and I am a fourth-year PhD student working with Dr. John Anderson on skill acquisition and sensory motor learning. Today, I am going to give you a demonstration of electromyography, which is also known as EMG. First I'm going to introduce you to the equipment and the different sensors that we're using. So electromyography is used as a proxy for muscle recordings. So basically we want to record the action potentials that are related to the generation of force. And so I have this sensor here which I put on a muscle that is called the flexor digitorum superficialis, which basically controls my index finger movements. And so I also have this reference electrode, which I put on a bone on my right hip. And so this is because we need the ground in the circuit, otherwise we wouldn't be able to measure voltage. And so next I'm going to show you the machine, so maybe you can come closer and I'm going to show you. So because the voltage that we record is basically a millionth of a volt, we need something which is called an amplifier, which, as the name suggests, amplifies the signal so that we can see it on the screen. And so here I have set the gain to 1K, which means that we're amplifying 1,000 times. And so now, without further ado, I'm going to show you what an EMG experiment would look like. So every time I'm going to move my index finger, you're going to see the resulting signal on the screen. So here we go, I have launched the EMG, and now when I move, you start to see a signal that's generated on the screen, which corresponds to all the action potentials at the muscle fiber, which are related to the generation of muscle force. This is what we call an Arduino microcontroller. This is enabling me to not only record EEG, which corresponds to brain signals, but also electromyography in real time. And both of them are synchronized via this wire, and this is called the trigger module, which basically lets the EMG system know exactly what's going on the EEG side. Thank you so much for watching.
So these are tonotopic maps from Lori Holt's lab, who studies auditory perception, but Bobby Klatsky is the one who actually helped me calculate the visual angle. So you can see that your perspective, based on where you're standing, changes. Pause. Let's head to the ground floor to see Lori Holt's lab space.
Come follow me!
Welcome to Lori Holt's laboratory. So down here are brand new renovated spaces. You can see they have a nice space around here, and oh, hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Holt Lab. The three of us are second years. My name is Alana, and I'm studying speech perception.
Hi, my name is Austin. I'm also a second year. I'm co-advised by Dr. Lori Holt and Dr. Barbara Cunningham. I study reward learning and auditory selective attention.
Hi, I'm Chisum, the second year of the Holston Cunningham trio, and I study auditory category learning and second language acquisition.
Okay, so let me bring you on a tour of the lab.
But first, Alana, come back here.
Yeah.
Tell me, what makes your lab special?
That is a great question. Our lab is awesome because we have such a great community. All of our lab members are so close to each other. We have so much fun, and we have such an open dialogue about our research. As you can see, we have great personalities too, and that kind of dynamic in a lab is so important, and that's what drew me to the lab.
Thanks for sharing, Alana.
One of the reasons why I chose CMU is because of the Pitt Cognitive Auditory Science community. We're very close to the University of Pittsburgh, and we have quite a bit of collaboration with them. So it makes the auditory research even more exciting.
And I love our lab because we are very organized. We have our lab manager, Christy Gomez, who has been in the lab for almost 20 years. She has a very, very set system of how we run our experiments, how we get our participants, and also Christy is just an awesome person. We as a lab just get very close, and that's why I love our lab.
And as all of you applying know, having a lab manager that's been in the lab for so long is such an asset because they know the ins and outs, and it's really great.
Okay, so one of the coolest things about our lab, because we do auditory research, is that we have sound booths. So this sound booth is particularly special because it is electrically shielded, which means that we can do EEG research as well. So here's the inside. Also, if you're having a stressful day and you just need to let it out, come into a sound booth, close the door, scream as much as you want. You're not going to bother anybody. And yeah, it's just great. It's wonderful. So this is one of them, but actually we have several. We have 4.
Yay! One of my favorite features of the sound booth is that we run our participants in here, and all of our sound booth equipped with a standing desk. So you can just feel like home when you're one of our participants. And we have quite a bit of equipment, all these cutting edge techniques that we're using. And she's going to show you one more booth over there.
Yeah, I'm going to do a screaming test, so let me know if you hear this. Did you hear that?
No, we heard nothing. Amazing, the technology.
So if you're looking to do auditory and cognitive neuroscience research, this is the place to be.
Join the Holt and Shin Cunningham Labs.
Come to CMU.
Also, just come to CMU.
So this is actually an image from Tim Versteinen's laboratory of diffusion tensor imaging. I think I painted it in my second year, but Tim actually teaches a data science course for all graduate students where you learn how to program in R. And I came to CMU with little to no programming background. And now, as a 5th year almost graduating, I am a fluent programmer in both R and MATLAB. And I feel very confident in my statistic abilities, but it's primarily because of Tim's class. So if you're like me, where you start graduate school and your last statistics class was actually in your junior year in undergrad, and you kind of forgot what a t-test or an ANOVA is, that shouldn't discourage you at all from being in graduate school, because our department will give you the resources and the instructors to help you learn that material. Okay, we are heading over to Margaret Morrison from Baker Hall, and on the way there, we are stopping at the Number Garden, one of my favorite places on campus. So some of the big words that you hear are things like big data and machine learning and artificial intelligence. But when you leave CMU, you will know what those terms mean, and you'll probably even use them in your research. CMU is a very tech-heavy school, and it's for a good reason. And now I present to you Margaret Morrison.
The Children's School's primary role is to facilitate research in developmental psychology and any related fields. The Children's School has a whole wing of laboratories where faculty members conduct research. And our job is to have children available for that research children ages 3, 4, and 5. Our other job is to help improve the research by helping the faculty members, graduate students, and their research teams to better understand children and think about the best ways to get the data that they want in order to answer the research questions that they have.
I have been working with the Children's School conducting research studies here for about 14 years. It allowed me to do some unique studies that otherwise I wouldn't be able to do. For example, to conduct longitudinal studies where we can follow the same child over a period of time and ask the same child many different questions in many different situations.
Okay, so that was the Children's School, which you can see is attached to the developmental labs. So this is where I do the majority of my research. As you can see, it is a Game Boy because I study the effects of video games on children's cognition. So some of the videos from the developmental labs look like they are straight out of the Blair Witch Project, which is because the developmental labs are recently renovated. Brand new furniture, brand new everything, but the power is also out due to said renovations. So I'm going to be showing you prior clips of research in the labs. Something that I want to highlight is how amazing Sharon Carver is. As you saw, Sharon Carver is the director of the Children's School. On top of that, she also teaches courses in the learning sciences, one of them being educational goals, instruction, and assessment. This class is one of the most beneficial classes that I have ever taken. It teaches you evidence-based principles of how students learn, down to designing an entire curriculum and a syllabus, so actual formal training on how to teach a class and the best methods to do so. I can't tell you the amount of times I've knocked on Sharon's office directly next to the developmental labs and she's dropped everything she's working on and opened her door for me. In the lab, there's also your classic double-sided mirrors, and we also have eye tracking and a lot of access to technology. There are lab spaces for every single developmental faculty, so for Bonnie Nazari, Jessica Cantlin, Dan Yurovsky, David Rakusin, Eric Thiessen, Anna Fisher. Everyone has their own lab space, and they also typically also have a lab manager and a research team that helps collect data. We also have several partnerships with schools in and around Pittsburgh where we actually go into the schools and actually collect data. So something that developmental lab space has is functional near-infrared spectroscopy, also known as FNIRS, which uses low levels of light to actually image the brain. And it's really nice for children and special populations because it's less sensitive to motion artifacts compared to EEG, and children don't need to stay in a confined, loud environment and stay relatively immobile like fMRI. Like the EEG lab, FNIRS is also a communal space where researchers who are interested in using it do have access to it, and it is a really nice tool that we have here in the developmental lab spaces. Welcome to the developmental lab space. Welcome to the developmental lab spaces. So first when you walk in, what you'll see is what we all call the round room. So this is a communal lab space amongst all the developmental labs, but it's where research assistants, graduate student staff can just hang out. Fridge and microwave, Keurig. And along this hallway are all the developmental lab spaces. So in here is our neuroimaging room where we use functional near-infrared spectroscopy. These are the caps that we use to secure the NIRS optos to children's heads. So in our lab, we primarily look at the prefrontal cortex because we know that's associated with executive function and attentional processes. And these are the cute little caps that we use to secure those optos to their heads. So over here, we have another one of our lab spaces. Those are all soundproof walls and all brand new furniture. Over here is Eric Thiessen's laboratory. So most of his work is with infants. Caregivers who we have close ties with in the community will come in and either bring their infants, which will sit on their laps, or their younger children. And over here, all of the video footage is connected to these computers where researchers can code their behavior. So there's one door here that leads straight to the children's school. and another door there which leads to the children's school. But this is the room where I do the majority of my research. So I study the effects of physically active video games. Right now I've been running a study in virtual reality. So we have college-age students come in, and this is where they participate in the study. Here, this is directly to Sharon Carver's office. Sharon Carver's amazing. Another door that leads straight to the children's school. Researchers, children can come here, and you can see here it's just a nice cozy environment for children. Okay, and that is the renovated developmental lab spaces. One of the biggest traditions at CMU is painting the fence, which has actually beaten the Guinness World Records for the most painted object in the world. But this is one of the ways that students express themselves here at the university. So these images were actually modeled off of work in Tim Versteinen's lab and also by Kevin Jarboe. So we're actually going to go visit Kevin in the University Center. Next to Margaret Morrison is the University Center. This is where a lot of students can hang out either outside or inside and do work. There's also tennis courts, an indoor swimming pool, and a racquetball court. So this is where students come as sort of a central hub. The University Center is huge, and there is a lot of space to do work and hang out. There is a grad lounge specifically only for graduate students. And it's just a nice place where you can set up and do work if you want to change in scenery from Baker. Got some nice coffee, some other places to do work or hang out. Oh, that's cute. They have a puzzle going on. They also have this gigantic flat screen, so sometimes they'll even put the game on and order food, you know. Hey, Josh. In the University Center, we also have fitness facilities. So there is a weight room on the bottom floor, and there's cardio machines on the top floor. There's also Group X classes, so we have studios upstairs that are free to all staff and students. They also have brand new fitness facilities in Tepper School of Business, which is right across the street from the UC. And yes, the gym is open and they are having fitness classes in person, so you can take care of your physical and mental well-being. In the University Center, there is a Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion.
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin Jarboe. Welcome to the center. Let's take a tour. Come on in. So, hey everyone, my name is Kevin Jarboe. I'm currently a President's Postdoctoral Fellow in the Department of Social and Decision Sciences, but I'm also a PhD psychology alum from the psych department here. I used to work with Tim Versteinen in the Codex lab, and I'll be starting a faculty position here in fall 2021. So, looking forward to seeing y'all when you get here. Another thing that I do here on campus is I work part-time in the Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion. What we do is provide identity-based support for all students on campus so that they can navigate their life here from the student affairs perspective as well as the academic perspective. So as you look around the center, we have a lot of spaces for students to come and congregate to get some work done, just to hang out and rejuvenate from the stresses of daily campus life. But you're surrounded by a bunch of different professionals here in student affairs who are able to support you in any ways that you need. So there's a ton of places to work, a ton of places to connect, and a ton of places to find yourself here at CMU. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all down here in the center. Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Jarboe, he, they pronouns. The us also works for me. It's been a while since I've seen folks, and you may recognize me from other parts of this recruitment video with a little bit of a different haircut and a brand new office and new position, where I started as an assistant professor here in the Department of Social and Decision Sciences at Carnegie Mellon. I was a postdoc the last time you see me in other parts of this video, and since then I've been up to quite a bit. I'm teaching a class called We're Not Beyond Race on Race and Identity in America. I'm continuing on with a lot of research looking at the impacts of stereotype threat and how it influences students' decisions to seek help and procrastinate in academic settings. And I've stepped up into the co-directorship of the Data-Driven Diversity Lab, or the D3 Lab, that I co-direct with Dr. Cody Menke in psychology, as well as Dr. Jeff Kaufman in human and computer interaction. In that particular lab, we look at the different kinds of ways that we can improve the student experience on college campuses through different sorts of methods and theories and applying interventions that will target the academic and social experience of students on campuses. So if you're interested in joining that lab or working with me, I'd be happy to have you all come and join us here at the D3 Lab for our weekly meetings and getting into some interesting research along with Dr. Menke and Dr. Kaufman. To that point, wishing you all the best in your application experience and your interview weekend, and hope to see you here at CMU.
So this is Kevin's office. Kevin is one of those special faculty where his door is always open. So whenever I'm stressed or I just need to take a breather, sometimes I'll just come to Kevin's office and we won't even talk. It's just a safe place to kind of de-stress. And one of those ways is actually drawing on his whiteboard. So here you'll see, in Japan, broken objects are often repaired with gold. The flaw is seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this when you feel broken. So I'll just let that message sink in with all of you. The Bridge Center is located in the Mellon Institute, which is a few blocks away from Baker. If you're taking any neuroscience classes, they'll most likely be in here. And if you do any fMRI work, this is also the building that you'll visit quite often. The Mellon Institute is relatively new Bridge Center, and Robert is going to give you a tour of the facilities.
Hello everyone, let's go on in. Bridge Center is a joint facility between CMU and the University of Pittsburgh, and it's here in the Mellon Institute, which is a building that's kind of about 5 to 10 minutes to walk away from CMU. And so let's do a tour. One service that the scanner provides is we have a mock scanner here. What this does is it allows you to essentially run mock versions of your paradigm to your participants, particularly participants who haven't had a lot of experience participating in MRI studies or have had many MRIs, because for those of you that have had one, it's a little bit of an unnerving experience. And so in order to give an opportunity for the participants to become inoculated to the noise, the feeling of being a little bit claustrophobic and a bore, we can essentially run small mini versions of your experiment here. So let's move on. Here's entering the MRI suite. As you can see, we have really nice unisex bathroom facilities. We have 3 practice rooms. We can just look at an example of one real quick. As you can see here, they're generally empty rooms with computers where you can run behavioral, pre-scan behavioral assessments or post-scan debriefings, pretty much whatever you want. There's plenty of space here. Here is the computer room, and there is the scanner. So we have a 3T Prisma scanner. We have capabilities with 64 channel, 32 channel. We have a bird cage and I think a 12 channel head coil. In addition to having the variety of these channel head coils, the scanner can do pretty high resolution imaging, like less than 2 millimeters. In addition to that, we have eye tracking capabilities. I know we can get in-scanner vitals information, so things like respiratory measures and heart rate. yeah, a number of labs here use various stimulus presentation software, so everything from ePrime to Site Toolbox to using Python-based presentation software. In addition to that, a couple labs also use BIDS formatting, so that infrastructure can be built into your data acquisition sequence.
We also have an amazing MRI tech.
Yes.
Hey, Scott.
Scott is a hero. And so if we want to take a peek inside the scanner, Cassie, don't lose your phone. Hold on to it tight. The directors and the people who help coordinate, the technologists, you can work with better people.
And look how participant friendly this scanner is. Beautiful. So right next to Baker Hall is actually Flagstaff Hill. So our campus is right next to this beautiful park where you can have picnics and hang out, throw a frisbee, just soak in the sun. Right over there is actually Phipps Conservatory where they conduct research. So if you're wondering what the graduate students have been doing outside of research, in the pandemic, we have socially distanced lunches, virtual happy hours. We also hang out in our virtual graduate wing. With accessibility to vaccines and free COVID testing for everyone at Carnegie Mellon, we were able to have our annual parties, welcome first-year graduate students, celebrate birthdays, celebrate Halloween, go to restaurants with outdoor seating. So this is the grad students at 5801, one of the popular LGBTQIA-friendly bars in Pittsburgh, have game nights, and go to department-supported events like apple picking and pumpkin decorating. We really hope you enjoyed this tour, and we hope you can join our community and be here at Carnegie Mellon.
Fluent, complex conversations with humans. God damn. It was fine till the end.
See, let's try it again. How am I gonna know you're there?
Oh yeah. And over here we have the 360 wing.
Selfies, oh no.
What? No, bro, this isn't a selfie, this is a tour.
This is for the visiting day.
Yeah, I know, I figured it out.
Okay, bye, bro.
No, you two are doing it, so.
Did you hear that?
No, we heard nothing. Amazing.
Rather than like having it be super. So I really do like okay, hold on. Lakshmi, what else should we be saying? What else should we be doing? Do you get something
What
fun?
do people usually
Like, what do people talk about? I think we really need like real drinks. I liquor.
No, I don't want to use their lab resources.
More like shielding sounds from the outside coming in. So if someone screams in the sound booth, we can get them. So really, it's safety first, always.